four-time reigning Sun Belt champion Appalachian State Mountaineers and the Texas State Bobcats. Alongside Steve Foster, I'm Brent Freeman coming to you live from Bobcat Stadium on ESPN Plus. And Foss, the Mountaineers again have the pedigree, have the talent to contend for a Sun Belt Conference title. Well, the Bobcats, after a promising start of the season, have struggled as of late. Today, though, they're playing for the upset. This should be a fun matchup.
Absolutely, Brent. This is a tale of two cities. Boone, North Carolina is booming, and San Marcos, Texas is on the come-up. This team is playing harder than their record would represent.
Now, when you think about the Mountaineers over the past 4 years, yes, you think about titles, but you also think about the play of quarterback Zach Thomas is about as good as they get, not only in the Sun Belt, but the nation. Only Clemson's Trevor Lawrence has more career wins among active FBS quarterbacks than Foss. Anytime you can be mentioned in the same breath as Trevor Lawrence, you're doing something right.
You're doing something extremely right. And last week, this quarterback, Zach Thomas, reached his all-time high in rushing with 109 yards. Also threw for 2 touchdowns and 150-yard passing.
Big-time career numbers for Zach Thomas today, making his 32nd career start. Let's talk Texas State now. Despite the 1-7 record, the Bobcats can be a fun team to watch, especially when you have a pair of playmakers at wide receiver like the Bobcats do in Jeremiah Haydell and Marcel Barbie.
Absolutely. We start with Haydell, the senior from Alief. He is electrifying, and he can score in many ways. He'll find the end zone a lot. And also Marcel Barbie, number 18 from Colorado, does his work also.
10 combined touchdowns for these two, but for Barbie, his 7 are good for not only 5th most in the country, but are the most for a Bobcat since Texas State moved up to the FBS back in 2012. But the Bobcats will have a new quarterback throwing them the football today after Brady McBride threw 3 interceptions last week against Louisiana. The Bobcats are now turning to Tyler Vitt, the junior, out of San Antonio, making his 3rd start this season and the 15th of his career. We'll see how it all plays out as the Bobcats play for the upset. The Mountaineers looking to continue their journey towards another conference title. Kickoff is coming up next. Ready for kickoff here between Texas State and Appalachian State. The Mountaineers playing for their 4th win in a row, a team that takes care of business in the Sun Belt over the past 50 conference games. The Mountaineers have won 45. The Bobcats and Coach Spavital looking for their first win since September the 19th, which was the only win the Bobcats have recorded here in 2020. Coach Spavital looking for a big play in the return game out of his kick returners. Won't get a chance here as the kickoff sails behind Jeremiah Haydell. We'll take a look at the Bobcats offense here to start the game. And quarterback Tyler Vitt making the start for the Bobcats, his first since that September 19th win at ULM.
Brand, he's done well. You know, it's a learning season, but you're not going to have a guy come into the game who you don't think performs. We've spoken with Coach Spavital, and he's all about getting a win. And right now, big opportunity in front of the Bobcats.
14 career starts for Tyler Vitt. One of those came against Appalachian State last year in Boone, North Carolina. Now here we are in sunny South Texas in San Marcos. The first play is an incomplete pass, a pass that was batted away, or tipped rather, by Demetrius Taylor, senior defensive end out of Miami, Florida. This defensive front for the Mountaineers is so good.
Yeah, you know, and he who wins the line of scrimmage, I've said it all along since I was a kid, usually has the better advantage each and every play, and the consistency out of App State has been tremendous all season.
One of the advantages for this App State defense has been their ability to get pressure without having to blitz, getting pressure sometimes only rushing as little as 3, as that stop is made by DeMarco Jackson. And the Bobcats, which have struggled on 3rd down, are faced with 3rd and 10.
You're absolutely right. You can tell this team is well coached, but they have the athletes to coach to get good results.
Over the past 4 games, the Bobcats, when faced with 3rd and 7 or longer, are 1 for 24. That pass is in traffic but caught across midfield, inside the 30, and Javen Banks is gone. 75-yard touchdown, Javen Banks, What a start for Texas State.
There's a flag on the field, but I believe that's probably offsides on App State, which means Tyler Vitt takes advantage of having what they call a three-play, Brant. And right there, you mentioned it, to the far side, number 12, Javen Banks, just catches the ball and outraces the secondary on the far side, hits the sideline express, and he's gone.
Coach Babineau saying that he wanted to give Javen Banks more of an opportunity today, and boy, does he take advantage of the opportunity there. Big playmaker for the Bobcats a year ago with 4 touchdowns. A touchdown here starts his scoring, and what a start here for Texas State on the 3rd play of the game. The Bobcats strike for 75 yards.
Texas State 7, Appalachian State 7.
So again, Steve, Javen Banks, the ability there against 2 defenders to come up with a football, the catch run afterwards. You couldn't ask for a better start from Coach Babineau.
No, and again, great concentration on the far side by Banks, who really was covered by 2 secondary men of App State. They both fall down, and I've seen that a lot of times, going so hard to a receiver to knock the ball either out of his hands or knock him down. They knock each other off of the receiver, and then it just becomes a sprint. And guys, we run the sprints at the end of the practice all the time just for one opportunity like that in the game, Brant, to score a long touchdown. That's one of those explosive plays, over 20 yards, and a 75-yard touchdown on a sunny day against a team like App State is an awesome way to start a football game.
The 75-yard pass for Tyler Vitt ties the longest for him of his career. Also hit Jeremiah Haydell for a 75-yard touchdown earlier this season at ULM. So the Mountaineers will look to respond as the kickoff is fielded by Stephen Jones. Jones out across the 25-yard line, and that will give us our first look today at Zach Thomas, the senior quarterback out of Trussville, Alabama. Again today is his 32nd career start, 27-4 his record.
This gives a guy like Zach Thomas some incentive to get himself and his team in the end zone now. Brant, an explosive play by the Bobcats, and now App State with a guy who's a definite dual threat starting from inside of his 30-yard line.
One of the biggest fans of Zach Thomas is Texas State's head coach, Shakes Babineau. He's worked with so many great quarterbacks over the years, names like Johnny Manziel and Geno Smith and Kyler Murray. And he is a big fan of Zach Thomas, who's here. He's pressured and nearly throws the ball into coverage. Jordan Revels, who returned to the Bobcat lineup after missing the previous 4 games with a broken foot, applied the pressure against Zach Thomas.
Man, pretty good pressure up front, as you mentioned, Brant, by the Bobcats. And that's what you want to do to an offense, is disrupt the timing and also get in the quarterback's face.
Bobcats have struggled applying pressure this season. They've only forced 8 sacks here in 2020. It's a run play on 2nd down for the Mountaineers and short of the 35-yard line, but a good 2nd down run there for Appalachian State's Datrick Harrington, the junior out of Douglasville, Georgia, sets up a manageable 3rd down.
Absolutely, coming near side to us, Brant. And one of my favorite run plays, the off-tackle play, is between the guard and the tackle, and you just want to load up on that defensive line in a good running lane, as you mentioned, for Harrington.
This is one of the better 3rd down offenses in the Sun Belt, the 8th best in the country at Appalachian State. They need 3 to convert. Thomas has a man wide open for 1st down yardage. Austin Deason with the tackle of Miller Gibbs, the sophomore tight end from Davidson, North Carolina, makes the play.
And what really helps a guy like Zach Thomas, who needs no help, was an easy pitch and catch off of a play-action fake to Harrington, who picked up, as you mentioned, good yardage on 2nd down.
So the Mountaineers are pressed into downs now, just shy of midfield. Harrington didn't get much. Will bring up 2nd down and long. Getting back to the conversation here about Zach Thomas. Again, he's a senior. He's played a lot of football, but you go back to his very first start, Foss. It came in Happy Valley against Penn State and the Nittany Lions that day. Had over 300 yards of total offense, 3 touchdowns, and a near upset. of Penn State that night. The Mountaineers knew right away what they had at quarterback, as this second down run for Harrington is good for 7.
Well, Harrington squirts through it. Initially, he was stopping. Good leg drive, and he had good body lean forward. But as you mentioned, I think what makes Zach Thomas so special is because he believes in Zach Thomas. And most of the things that a field general quarterback has to do is believe himself that he can do the job for his football team.
It helps when you have an experienced offensive line like App State does. Only Virginia's offensive line has more career starts than the Mountaineers. On third down, the run for Harrington, and he fumbled the football. And his teammate jumped on it at the 33-yard line. Heads-up play made by Henry Pearson as the Mountaineers dodge a bullet.
I tell you, some fundamental football was not done on one side and was done on the other. The defense for the Bobcats had an opportunity to recover a fumble. You don't want to pick it up. Just recover that fumble. When hands were reached down versus a body for App State, the team in white got their whole body down on the ball and recovered that football. That was an opportune time for the Bobcats.
You got to fall on it, right?
You got to fall on it.
So now first down for the Mountaineers as they approach the red zone. Thomas outside the pocket. Downfield shot. Wide open man in the end zone for the touchdown. Miller Gibbs had a big third down catch earlier on the drive. This one goes for 6 and a 33-yard touchdown.
That's a 14-point swing, Brant, because if the Bobcats get that fumble by Harrington, that pass for 32 yards and a touchdown never occurs, and the momentum stays on this side of the field.
And now on for the point after Chandler State, trying to even things up at 7 apiece. Maybe we're in store for a shootout today. The two offenses, 2 touchdown drives, and we are tied at 7. So the Mountaineers dodge a turnover bullet, and they cash in on the opportunity. Zach Thomas, career touchdown pass, number 58, ties us at 7 early on in St. Marcus.
Zach Thomas looks deep, end zone, touchdown. Thomas to the end zone, what a strike. Zach Thomas tossed his ball. Is he going to score? Yes! 5 touchdowns responsible for.
And what a game that night in Boone, North Carolina for quarterback Zach Thomas, accounting for 5 touchdowns against Arkansas State. Voss, he was chomping at the bit. The Mountaineers had gone 26 days between games. They were focused and locked in as they got ready for the Red Wolves, and boy did Thomas have a phenomenal night that night as Haydel is stopped short of the 20. If you can get 5 touchdowns out of your quarterback, including a dynamite 60-yard touchdown run, well, your offense is going to be tough to stop.
You're absolutely right, because the quarterback's the most dangerous man. He always gets the snap unless you're in wildcat formation, Brent. And with the decision-making and the ability that Zach Thomas has, you're absolutely right. Anytime you're getting more than 3 touchdowns a game, you're doing something exceptional.
And Thomas, again, just engineers scoring drive for the Mountaineers, capped off by his 33-yard touchdown pass to Miller Gibbs. On first down for the Bobcats, it's Calvin Hill. And he is stopped short of the 20-yard line to bring up second down and long. You look at the running back group for Texas State. And Coach Babineau made the comment that no group has been more consistent than that group, led by Brock Sturgis along with Calvin Hill and Jamil Jeter.
You're absolutely right. And it's nice. It's a luxury because it's not a running back by committee because you don't have good rushers. It's because you do have good rushers.
On second and long, in the flat for Hill, and falls down. Saw DeMarco Jackson coming in. The Bobcats faced with third down and a long way to go.
Hill not that tall, tried to duck under the tackler, but as you know, Brant, in college football, you touch the knee down and no one touches you, it's still down at that point for safety.
You see just how much the Bobcats ground game has improved. Going back to last year, their per game rushing total nearly doubling from 2019. Well, the Bobcats converted 3rd and 10 of the previous drive to the tune of a 75-yard touchdown. This 3rd and 16. Fitz pass knocked down. And there's Taylor making the play again for Appalachian State. Preseason first team All Sunbelt defensive lineman, a captain on this team. Mentioned preseason first team. The Mountaineers with 7 preseason first team selections. Nobody in the conference had more. So, again, the Mountaineers just stacks defensively, offensively. There's talent up and down this roster.
That's why they're in first place, Brant. The talent is definitely responding to the coaching in Boone, North Carolina.
Seamus O'Kelly, the Australian, out to punt it away for Texas State. Williams back to return, and the fair catch just short of the 50. 7 apiece early on in the first quarter in San Marcos. This App State offense about to take the field for the second time this afternoon. Their opening drive of the game, good for a touchdown drive, led by the veteran quarterback Zach Thomas, a player we had the chance to visit with earlier this week, Foss. And funny story about Zach Thomas. Appalachian State was not his first choice in terms of where he wanted to go play college football. He played his high school football in Alabama, broke his leg his senior year. So the offers he had came off the table. Committed to Jacksonville State, but then App State came calling back after a quarterback in the program transferred to Iowa State. So Zach Thomas came back, and the rest is history.
Yes, and he's been performing well. I asked him, what did he learn from coming back from that broken leg? And really, it just tightened up his focus even more than he had. And he was out to prove that he was a winner regardless of the setback. And to be able to come back from an injury like that, especially seeing how well he's rushing the ball, is just a testament to what his belief system is.
Now again, Thomas is from Trussville, Alabama. You know what Trussville, Alabama doesn't get much of? Snow. In Boone, North Carolina, you'll get it. Big tackle out in space made by the player they call Baby J here at Texas State, Jaron Morris. The Bobcats have been looking for leadership on defense. They lost so many experienced players from a year ago. Coach Bavidal has said that Morris has provided that leadership this season.
You have to, and it has to be by your play. You can talk all you want on the football field, Brant, but I want to see plays made each and every down.
App State converted twice on 3rd down on the opening drive. They need 8 here. Here's Thomas, pressured. Ezador slings him down. So the Bobcats defensively make a stand. A lot of pushing and shoving as the two teams come out of the pile there. For the Bobcats defensively to get the field position to Appalachian State and not allow moving of the chains. That's an important sequence.
Well, the Bobcats won the line of scrimmage battle there on that series, Brandon. You can see it. It looked like a designed quarterback keep. As mentioned last week, 109 rushing yards by Zach Thomas, the quarterback for App State, and right there he had nowhere to go except into the arms of the Bobcat defense.
Here is Xavier Zubac to punt it away. Bobcats dangerous return man Jeremiah Haydell elects for the fair catch here.
And that's tough.
Halfway through the first quarter, tied at 7. The Mountaineers have their 3rd head coach in as many years, but an App State lifer, Sean Clark, former player at Appalachian State back in the 90s under the great Jerry Moore, and was an assistant under the previous 2 coaches, Scott Satterfield and Eli Drinkwitz. Did spend some time outside of Appalachian State as he made his way through his coaching journey, but called this a dream job, and now he's got it as Tyler Vitt, backed up at his own 5-yard line, is stopped after a 2-yard gain. And again, Coach Clark loves the App State program, the community of Boone, North Carolina. Always wanted to come back to his alma mater and is doing great things for the Mountaineers.
He is, and he's also an offensive lineman, which I appreciate, Brand, as well. But he has his team coached up very well.
On 2nd down, Vitt looking for T.J. Graham, and a diving catch is made. T.J. Graham on the big catch for the Bobcats. And a fresh set of downs here for Texas State.
Transferred from Iowa State, Brant, and great body control on the far side. But what I loved from Vitt there is he put the ball where only his receiver was going to have an opportunity, Brant, to catch.
First catch for Graham since September the 26th in a near upset over Boston College. Vitt on first down. Again, a vertical pass caught by Graham. So back-to-back catches for T.J. Graham, and the Bobcats are in business here. And this after the drive starting at the 5-yard line. You talked about this earlier, Foss, as we see Bobcat head coach Jake Spavital in year 2 at Texas State. The decision for Jeremiah Haydell to call for the fair catch on the punt of the 5-yard line, that's a tough spot. There is Haydell. The pass is incomplete, broken up on the far side of the field, and brings up third down.
Well, let me make mention to Graham, not the transfer from Iowa State. But yes, as a punt returner, when you see good kick coverage, you're wondering if the ball's going to get downed inside the 5. You do bite the bullet and try to make the catch, because that's the first purpose and primary reason a punt returner is back, Brant, is to catch the football.
That last pass broken up by Sean Jolly of Appalachian State. Here's an all-out blitz by the Mountaineers. Vitt throwing against pressure for Barbie, the catch. And a touchdown-saving tackle made by Shamar Jean Charles. So Tyler Vitt, in the face of big-time pressure from Appalachian State, makes a big-time throw.
Well, you hear all the time, Brant, you might as well catch it because you're going to get hit. Well, quarterbacks might as well make that good throw because they're going to have some pressure in their face and get hit on occasion as well. And right there, Vitt stood strong and threw a dart for a first down.
Again, the Bobcats have struggled on third downs this season, but 2 of 3 so far today. A screen for Haydell, who's been really quiet as of late. You know, we saw some of the highlights earlier of Jeremiah Haydell, but over the past several ball games, again, really hasn't done a whole lot. Hasn't eclipsed 40 yards receiving since September the 19th, and so Coach Spavital has decided to move him into the slot to get him a little bit more involved in the game plan.
You're absolutely right. And the defense can stop a guy on the wide side of the field, but not in the slot. You have so many more options with patterns to be run.
On second down, Vitt over the middle, passes batted away by Jackson. And with a couple of Mountaineers there, dangerous throw from Tyler Vitt. This is kind of the no-fly zone, this App State secondary. You look at the defensive numbers for Appalachian State's pass defense, third lowest pass completion allowed in the country this season, 4th in pass defense nationally, pass efficiency defense nationally as well. Again, if you're throwing vertical, good luck.
Well, that was a pretty good pass, though. I got to give credit to Vitt right there. That ball could have been caught.
Third and long again for Texas State. It's a draw. Jamil Jeter, the former Oklahoma State Cowboy. But wrapping him up is Trey Cobb. Mountaineers leading tackler this season, 4th in the Sun Belt Conference, a junior out of Waycross, Georgia. And the Bobcats, after a promising drive that covers almost 50 yards, they'll have to punt from midfield. So they don't score here, Foss, but the ability to get out of the shadow of the end zone to get at least 40 yards or so flips a football field.
Well, the decision to make the catch, and I would agree with it on the 5, but if the ball would have gone into the end zone, Brant, and you add that yardage, you may have been looking at a field goal.
The rugby-style punt from O'Kelly. Williams will let it go inside the 10 and pinned down at the 6 by Texas State. So again, Seamus O'Kelly, good punt there for the Bobcats. See him from Melbourne, Australia. Attended the Pro Kick Academy, where so many punters and kickers come from these days in college football. Talked about App State's no-fly zone defensively. And again, you bring up the numbers as a whole for Appalachian State. Giving up fewer than 18 points per game. They rank second in the conference in yards given up, in total offense and in rushing offense. And you see that pass efficiency defense so good for head coach Sean Clark. Running play on first down for Harrington out across the 10-yard line. The defensive coordinator for Appalachian State is Dale Jones. He's in his 24th year now in the program, but not consecutively. Coach Jones left to coach at Louisville last year, and head coach Sean Clark made a concerted effort to bring him back.
Good coaching. It pays off. You've seen some teams that switch coaches and aren't getting exactly what they had in years past.
On second down, another run for the Mountaineers. Cameron Peoples, a short yardage specialist for App State, able to move the chains on second down and 4.
It's one of those ping pong runs, or pinball runs, I should say, depending on what you want to play. I've had ping pong go that way also, but it's when running backs like to kind of spin and bounce off of the tacklers and keep their legs churning, Brant. And right there, as you mentioned, the short yard specialist used those same techniques in space and picked up a first down.
And the running lanes again opened up by this offensive line. Really good there for Cameron Peoples, who takes the handoff again. And Peoples held to a couple of yards there. Talked about this offensive line and mentioned all the stars. Only Virginia has more. You look at the center specifically. Noah Hannon for Appalachian State on the Outland Trophy Award watch list. Another one of those preseason first-team All-Sunbelt selections. Well, Coach Clark said if he were 3 inches taller, he'd be in the SEC. That's how good he is.
I'll take him at 6'1", to be honest with you.
But I'm sure others would take him at 6'4". On second down, Thomas harassed and throws that ball into traffic and incomplete. Looking for Jalen Virgil, senior out of Lawrenceville, Georgia. Hasn't played since the September 19th loss at Marshall.
Right there, you can see the talent of Zach Thomas. You're right. He picks out Virgil. He goes opposite of your dominant hand, and when you throw kind of back across your body because you're not going with the natural fall or throwing motion of your hand, you want to square up to the line of scrimmage, and Zach Thomas did that extremely well to give his receiver an opportunity to catch the ball.
Here's the blitz. Thomas feeling the heat, spins away and throws it away. The Bobcats got a little creative there with their defensive look.
You don't want to have Zach Thomas believe that he's going to see the same thing on the same down and distance. So mix it up in the front. I always believe you can cover with 6 easily, and even against spread offensive, Brant. So you can bring 5. So even if you have a 3 or a 4-man front, you can sneak a blitzer from anywhere on the field and still cover with 6.
Getting off the field has been a problem for the Bobcats defense this year. Opponents were converting on third downs at a 45% clip, but a third down stop there. Here's Haydell, bobbles it but brings it in. Haydell breaking some tackles, and it finally ends. The play does at the 30-yard line. Saw some explosiveness from Haydell against UTSA, a 91-yard punt return in that game against the Roadrunners.
And right there, even just to get a few yards, after Haydell secured the ball, it bounced on his pads. He let the ball kind of play him a little bit, didn't catch it with his hands as the returner, but made a couple of good moves to get the ball up to the 30, Brant. But again, the primary job of a punt returner is to catch and field the ball.
Bobcats take over at their own 30-yard line. Final 2 minutes of the opening quarter. Here's Vitt over the middle. A dart complete to Jamarie Shareed, a player the Bobcats weren't sure was going to be available today. The K-Dot there, an 11-yard catch to move the chains.
Another good pass, and Vitt stepped into the throw right below us for a first down.
On first down here, it's Calvin Hill, and swallowing him up is the big Jordan Earl. Starting today in place of George Blackstock, out for an injury for Appalachian State. Again, between Demetrius Taylor, usually Blackstock, and Caleb Spurlin, that front 3 in this 3-4 defense that Coach Jones implemented years ago, so good.
Well, you get a replacement who's even bigger than the starter, Brant.
On second down, here's Vitt, and threw that right to the defender, Brendan Harrington. A chance for a big return down the sidelines. Harrington inside the 5 and into the end zone for the touchdown. Appalachian State pick 6. A killer mistake made by Tyler Vitt.
Well, we talked about what the Bobcats did to try to confuse Zach Thomas right there, as you mentioned, the no-fly zone confuses Vitt, and this one gets returned, as you mentioned, about 50-plus yards for the pick six.
27th career interception thrown by Tyler Vitt. And the Mountaineers have their first lead today with a little more than a minute to go here in the opening quarter. Point after good for Chandler Staten. So Appalachian State, yet another interception. Over the past 5 years, no team in the country has more interceptions than Appalachian State. This defense is used to plays like that.
And it is, and it's also because of good coaching that you can show one thing, Brant Freeman, and then jump into a different coverage. And when you have coaches that believe your athletes can do that, zone looks like man, man looks like zone. It's tough when you're having that good upfront pressure you mentioned by Taylor and Earl and Sperlin. You have to make a quick decision. Vitt made the wrong one, and he paid for it.
It's funny, we showed the offensive highlights for Zach Thomas against Arkansas State. The defense very good that day as well. Had 6 sacks against the Red Wolves over the past 3 games. The defense just wreaking havoc for Appalachian State. 12 sacks. They've hit the quarterbacks 14 times, forcing 5 interceptions, and again, one there moments ago. That if you're Tyler Vitt, you have to shake that off.
You do. You have to become like they tell defensive backs, just forget it and get to the next play, especially because Vitt is going to be tasked with leading this offense up and down the field this afternoon against an excellent App State football team.
Ball behind Haydell, and Tyler Vitt will get his chance to shake it off here as the Bobcats take over at the 25-yard line. Again, Tyler Vitt, the junior out of San Antonio, getting the start today in place of Brady McBride. And McBride had been struggling as of late for the Bobcats. 3 interceptions himself last week against Louisiana. You look at the season comparison for the two. McBride has had far more starts, yes, than Vitt has had, but the interception number for McBride had been climbing. 3 last week, 5 over the past 2 games. And Foss, Coach Spavital said it in a conversation earlier this week. If the Bobcats are going to win this game, they would have to play mistake-free football, as the Mountaineer Mylan Tucker is being looked at right now on the field. That's not mistake-free football.
No, the turnover is one thing you cannot. It's the cardinal sin of football, Brant. I can't help you when you give the ball to our opponent. I can get you 3rd and 20. I've seen that converted. I can't convert when Zach Thomas has the football.
So again, Tucker is being helped off here. Look at the top of your screen.
Bobcats start their drive first down and 10 from their own 25-yard
And Tucker going down right near the Sunbelt logo at the 25-yard line. As the Bobcats trying to shake off the interception, the pick 6, it's Jamil Jeter. Big hole up the middle for Jamil Jeter. Minchin, a transfer out of Oklahoma State. First-year transfer from Stillwater. Wasn't cleared to play for the Bobcats until their 4th game of the season.
That's a good run, and that right there eliminates bad choices, because you know that Vitt knows how to turn and hand the ball off to number 28, as you saw, and get a first down.
Chandler Spates, the motion man for Texas State. Long handoff for Jeter. We found that hole and then cut right up the field. Another nice run for Jeter, the former Cowboy, on a gain of 9.
Sometimes a little patience pays off. And right there, left side between the, looks like the guard and the tackle. That'd be the B gap, A gap between the center and the guard. And just, you can plant that off foot and off leg and just get upfield like that, and it's a sprint. You know, they measure the 10-yard burst of a lot of athletes in football, and that's the reason why.
The Bobcats will not get off one final play here in the first quarter. So we have played 15 minutes here in San Marcos. The Mountaineers have the lead courtesy of the defense. Brendan Harrington, 2nd straight game with the interception. This one taken back for a touchdown. The Mountaineers on top of the Sun Belt matchup, 14-7.
Army ROTC, also known as Bobcats Battalion, is a proud supporter of
Ready to start the second quarter. Appalachian State, courtesy of a pick six from Brendan Harrington late in the first quarter. On top after one, 14-7. A big run for the Bobcats to start the second quarter. Jamil Jeter, what a start he has had today. Jeter, another long gallop, big long strides. And the Bobcats are near the red zone.
That's a great off-tackle play. Brent, that's my favorite play, coming near side to us between the tackle and the blocking tight end. I don't even know if there was a tight end there. It was just a great running lane to the near side for Jeter.
Bobcats late getting a tight end on the field. Seth Caluette. The tight end position for the Bobcats has been tough to manage this year, as App State has afforded a substitution as well. The Bobcats lost another for the season last week in Jackson Lanham, as Jeter takes the handoff. It is stuffed this time for no gain. In fact, maybe lost a yard. The tackle by DeMarco Jackson. The Bobcats lost Micah Hills before the season began to a torn pectoral. Coach Bavidal said he's never been a part of a season in which he's lost so many players for the year than this one in 2020.
It's strange because, most of the time you have athletes that like to work out and stay ready, Brant. So it is surprising and shocking even that so many have gone down.
Second and long. Vitz got good protection in the flat for Jamil Jeter. A lot of touches for him in the first half, as Jackson stacks him up along with Tyler Bird. So I mentioned Jamil Jeter from Oklahoma State. He was a redshirt freshman last year, played in 3 games. Who did he back up? Chuba Hubbard.
Yes, the number 1 rusher in all of the land.
Yes.
From Canada, even so.
So, yes, Jeter only 3 games last year, but you kind of understand.
Yes, you do. It's great to have him here in San Marcos, though, Brant.
Third and long. Haydell, the one that comes in motion. Vitt will keep it on that RPO play, and App State was all over that. Demetrius Taylor in on another play for the Mountaineers. It's going to bring up 4th down for Texas State. That will send out the reigning Sun Belt Special Teams Player of the Week and Seth Keller, who last week, Foss, had a touchdown run.
Yeah, it was a great play. I saw that, the fake. And, when you get that out of your special teams, that's gravy. That's bonus. But also, if you can get somebody that can make them from 45 in, that's accuracy and that's points for your team.
This is from 42 yards out. It would have marked the longest for him this season. And that kick is on line, long enough and good. Cuts the App State lead down to 4. 14-10, App State early in the second.
41-yard field goal attempted by number 43, Seth Keller, is good. Our score, Appalachian.
A big area of concern for Texas State head coach Jake Spavital has been second quarters this season. The Bobcats have been outscored by 69 points, 117-48. They do get 3 on the last drive to cap it off. And I think that number there echoes what Coach Spavital talked to us about this week, Foss. The Bobcats' lack of depth, the injuries, the youth on this team, standing out as of late. They're having a hard time finishing halves.
Well, and again, I think a lot of it comes between the ears, your focus, and you cannot lose it, even if you think you're doing well against a team, because it is 4 quarters of football, not 2.
7-play drive for Texas State, 51 yards, took about 4 minutes off the clock. And the Mountaineers will start this next drive at the 25-yard line. So again, Tyler Vitt starting for the Bobcats today. Starting again for App State, Zach Thomas. Thomas hasn't been asked to do a whole lot so far.
Well, I was going to say, though, that the Bobcat defense has done very well to only give up 7 on their side of the field. And, Zach Thomas, this is a long ball game.
Oh, yes.
Yep. But for now, as you mentioned, a really good start for Texas State, and the ability to really not allow a lot of explosive plays to App State has been a plus for this football team.
On first down, it's a run for Harrington. Harrington, good run on first down, but it might come back. A flag behind the play. And, yep, that's going to come back against Appalachian State.
Sometimes.
Offense number 58, 10-yard penalty, replay first down.
Sometimes these rushers like myself get a little extra help from the guys on the end. And wide receivers, look, they call it a stalk block, and that has been back for ages, where they just want to get in front of the defender and allow a rusher to cut off of that man. Sometimes when you get hands on a defender, though, out on the edge, Brant, a lot of the officiating crews like to throw that yellow hanky.
A running back like yourself, we haven't talked about it yet. My partner tonight was a running back at Princeton. After the hold, it's first down and 20. Running play again for Harrington, making up for some of the lost yardage on the penalty to bring up second down and long. So, Princeton, Foss, tell us about it.
I tell you, I was very fortunate not only to get the thought-provoking education, but to play with a guy in Jason Garrett who won 2 Super Bowls with the Dallas Cowboys. So I had an excellent quarterback. I understand having the bevy of riches of a guy like Zach Thomas to work with.
Another run play for the Mountaineers, and third down and about 9 coming up after that run into the pile. So third and long for App State. Harrington, the one being helped up out of the pile. His 50% clip, 8th best third down offense in the country.
Well, the decision-making by the quarterback helps a lot. And, again, there's enough talent on both sides of the ball for App State to make these types of plays.
Thomas, pressured, throws complete. Across the 40 goes Christian Wells, a redshirt freshman from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He has become a big target as of late, playing amongst a group of veteran wideouts. Wells had 2 touchdown catches in the win over Arkansas State. Another one last week. Is starting to become a big factor in App State's offense.
Well, with the red shirt on him, that meant that he's been on campus for a season before he stepped on the field. And you can see the smooth break in which Wells had to catch that pass.
Flags before this snap. Got a false start coming up against Appalachian State.
And that being getting to the top of the route, either it being 5, 10, 15, whatever the yardage is, and then making the cut. It was into the middle of the field on a post, and that was a perfectly thrown ball by Thomas.
Still first down.
The Mountaineers are the second most penalized team in the Sun Belt. Not many categories in which you find App State near the bottom of in the conference. That is one of them. And that's their second penalty on this series. Coming up, the 5th play of the drive for App State. It's a run for Harrington. Boy, has he been busy. As Nico Ezador has the tackle for Texas State. Ezador, a junior out of Garland, Texas. Think about this, Foss. 6'2", 290 pounds. At high school, though, he was a short yardage running back.
Well, I tell you, he's not the first to do that. There's a guy named Warren Sapp that most people know who played running back before he became a defensive lineman. When you're talented in your youth, a lot of teams put that person on offense. Later on, they make their mark on the defensive side of the ball.
Second and long after the tackle for loss by Isidore. Here's a run for Harrington. He's got some room inside of midfield. And just got tripped up. App State moves the chains. The longest run of the day for Daetrick Harrington, who has battled injuries throughout his career. Last year, a foot injury limited him. The year before that, a torn ACL. App State, quick, no-huddle offense. Harrington again down the sidelines inside the 30. And, boy, is he gaining steam right now.
Yes, and 2 big gaining plays by number 4 in the backfield. And, again, what I like about Harrington is his pad level. He squares the pads to the line of scrimmage, and it makes it tough to be tackled.
And you saw it. Harrington has a nose for the end zone. Had 4 touchdowns in a win over Campbell earlier this season. He is one of 2 players in the country to have a 4-touchdown game on the ground. The other one, Texas's Sam Ehlinger.
Yes, you're in rare air when you're talking about these type of people. And I've seen Sam do it for now 4 seasons. And again, compliment Harrington because his offensive line has also given him a very good opportunity with their push up front.
Harrington is over 70 yards rushing now here in the first half, more than 7 yards a carry. And the first carry of the day for Marcus Williams Jr., able to move the chains for App State. A drive that began back at their own 25 is now inside the Texas State 20.
Well, I looked over the numbers, and App State does a tremendous job rushing the football. We mentioned last week that the quarterback, Zach Thomas, had 109 yards rushing. You know, that's not his forte, but what it is his forte is getting his team down the field, and you can see there are 3 quality running backs for App State that can rush the football.
A history of so many great running backs at Appalachian State. And here's a big hole inside the 5. Marcus Williams Jr. has it down to the 2-yard line. Veteran running back, 5th year in the program, but a big run there. Talked about App State's great history of running backs. They have had a 1,000-yard rusher now in 8 consecutive seasons. Only Boise State has a longer streak. And this season, the Mountaineers have been able to feed multiple backs.
Well, you have that talent that has been,
Injury timeout on the field. Back after this from San Marcos. What a game so far for Datrick Harrington for Appalachian State. Over 70 yards rushing for the Mountaineers as a team. App State has already racked up over 100 yards on the ground. A team that wants to pound the rock, and they are doing it today.
No doubt, and now it looks like Cam Peoples getting an opportunity as the I-back.
He is a short yardage specialist, but Thomas to the air, to the end zone. Man wide open for the touchdown. For App State, it's Caleb Spurlin. Spurlin, a defensive lineman, as the Mountaineers go deep into the playbook to come up with that one. And App State on top by 10.
Again, I would probably believe that some offense was in the past of the defensive lineman from Virginia, and a good hand shown there, but a great fake by Thomas into the line, using Peoples and finding a receiver open in the end zone.
So Coach Clark and offensive coordinator Tony Peterson going deep into the playbook, puts the Mountaineers on top 21-10. 5'11", 245 pounds to the defensive lineman, but he can make a catch. Caleb Spurlin the touchdown. App State on top 21-10. What's at stake today? Well, for Appalachian State, the Mountaineers looking to pick up their 8th consecutive win in conference play. For Coach Spavital's Bobcats, their first ever win over Appalachian State in this series. The Mountaineers have beaten the Bobcats all 5 times they have met. 4 of those meetings coming with the 2 teams in the Sun Belt together. As Coach Sean Clark looks on, again, what a play call he had to end that last long drive. 11 plays, 75 yards. More than 5 minutes off the clock for App State, ending on the Caleb Spurlin touchdown catch. On the return for the Bobcats, it's Jeremiah Haydell. He got sent back at the 20-yard line. And the next Bobcat drive will start there. Interesting story about Caleb Spurlin, a player who has a history of concussions, but has been able to overcome those, and is a first-year starter this year for App State, a former walk-on to the program, has come off the bench his first 3 seasons. He's been a big part of the defense this year. Moments ago, a big part of the offense on the touchdown catch.
Yeah, and he's back out on the field. Brant playing on the right side of the defensive line.
You didn't play 2 ways at Princeton?
No.
Bit looking for Haydell on that pass. It sails incomplete. Again, Jeremiah Haydell has been relatively quiet. 3 touchdowns for him in the first 3 games of the season. Hasn't had one since then. Made a few SportsCenter top 10 nominee plays. Brought up that punt return touchdown against UTSA. That was one of them. And an Odell Beckham-esque catch in the opener against SMU. Bit off his back foot, throws that one incomplete. There are flags on the play. The Bobcats have yet to be penalized in this game.
A lot of pressure in Vitt's face, Brant.
Holding, offense number 53. 10-yard penalty, Replay third down.
It's called against the sophomore Eddie Rivas.
Correction, replay second
first
down.
flag today. They were only flagged 4 times last week, and you saw it there. Rivas just tackled the oncoming defender. I don't think you can do that.
Well, no, but I appreciate the effort because that's showing that your lineman, your offensive lineman is getting after the defense because App State is bringing pressure in Vitt's face. And right there, Rivas, you know, a little bit much, but still, love the effort.
And a long extended draw. State.
Brock Sturgis, tackle made by number 99, Jordan Earl. There's a flag on
That would help get Texas State.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 99.
There you go. Yep.
15-yard penalty,
Earl, the guilty
automatic
party.
first down.
You know, I'm very leery about defenders getting their hands up about face mask, and you could see it. You know, it's just one of those unnatural things that you see a running style, then all of a sudden it gets changed, and right there, just corralled in. And there was probably no need for that, Brant, but again, a great opportunity now as
First down on the screen for Banks, and he fell down. If you recall, Javen Banks, as the flag comes in, Spurlin, a late shove of Banks after the play had been whistled dead. He's talking about Banks scoring on the 3rd play of the game for the Bobcats at a 75-yard touchdown. And here receives a late shove from Spurlin, another first down via penalty coming up for Texas State.
You know, there's not any need when you're winning a game, especially on the road, Brant,
After the play was
to
over,
do anything a
personal
little
foul,
extra. But right
unnecessary
there,
roughness, defense number 97. 15-yard penalty.
I love the
automatic
hit
first
and then,
down.
oh, let me help you up move.
Yep.
You know,
I don't think our fish shooting crew headed up by a Wayne Winkler fool there.
that's kind of like one of those for you Eddie Murphy fans. We're not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe. And right there, a 15-yard penalty right down in front of us, Brant. And again, Texas State assisted by another penalty from App State.
Just a couple of plays ago, the Bobcats were backed up at their own 10 and now have it at their own 40. Well, they're halfway through the second quarter. A quarter which has given the Bobcats problems all year. Vitt with a long pass, the wide side of the field, and right there, Sean Jolly for Appalachian State. Named by Pro Football Focus as the top defensive player in the group of 5. Plays like that tell you why.
Absolutely. Well, Vitt hung out his receiver, Haydell, just a little bit too long, which gave an opportunity for a strong standout in the secondary to make an open field tackle.
Loss of 5 on the play. Vitt taking a long time in the pocket. High throw reeled in by Marcel Barbie. But the Bobcats have made a habit of making one-handed catches this year. Barbie hauls that one in to bring up 3rd and 10.
That was impressive, Brant Freeman, because not only was that ball high, it was with a defender lurking, and you could have gotten your receiver hurt on that pass, but the reception was brought down, and now 3rd and 9.
There is a player down for the Bobcats. It is Eddie Rivas, the sophomore from Phoenix, making his 5th straight start today.
Hope Rivas is okay because I loved his effort. Even though he was called for a penalty early in this series, Brant, the effort of your offensive line to protect Vitt and create running lanes for these backs is what you're going to need against a team like App State.
And so Rivas helped up and trying to walk himself to the sidelines without the aid of the training staff. Again, this Bobcat offensive line has been patchwork at times. Rivas has been in and out of the lineup this year for Texas State. When talking to Coach Spavital about the position groups, and he feels as if there needs to be more depth established up and down, not just the offensive line,
Sure.
not just receiver, but all of it. Receiver, tight end, O-line, quarterback, running back. The Bobcats need depth for situations like this when a player goes down.
Well, that's what you see in Appalachian State. You can see people coming into the ball game and not having very much drop off, in particular in the running back category.
So after that one-handed snag by Marcel Barbie, one of the more exciting 5-yard catches you'll see, it's 3rd down and 10 to go. Here's the blitz from App State. Vitt rainbows a pass for Banks, and that one nearly picked off but ruled incomplete. Caden Smith nearly came away with it for Appalachian State, and that brings up 4th down.
risky play right in front of us here on the near sideline at about the 30, 35-yard line. And it looked like there was a gap to throw a pass, but it's tough to throw that wide side of the field, or even if it's an even up throw, that's 26 yards to the sideline, and forget the distance down the field. You got to really have a cannon to throw that ball on point.
Malik Williams back to return. Typically, Thomas Hennigan is a punt return man for App State, but he's dealing with a lower leg injury. And here, Williams will return to the outside. Far sideline, and finally forced it out of bounds, just shy of the 40. Good return for App State. Mountaineers on top by 11 late in the second quarter in San Marcos. The Bobcats had a big one-handed catch from Marcel Barbie, and Texas State has made a habit of doing that this season. Again, in the opener against SMU, SportsCenter top 10 play made by Haydell against SMU, awfully similar to what Odell Beckham did for the New York Giants on a Sunday night against the Dallas Cowboys his rookie season.
Yeah, and we just smoked Brandon Carr and a App State defender. They got mossed.
And here is a run for Marcus Williams Jr. on first down for the Mountaineers after the Bobcats punted following that last possession. The great catch by Barbie, yes, but did not move the chains. So, Foster,
yes.
Last Saturday was the final day of October. It was Halloween a week ago today, October 31st. The calendar has since turned to November. When that happens, App State doesn't lose. There's Barbie on the sidelines for the Bobcats. Fall start coming up against Appalachian State. So November is App State's month of football.
False start. Offense number 74. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
And you see what we're talking about here. Look at the record for App State in the month of November. Dating back to 2014. They haven't lost in this month since 2017 in Monroe. You do not beat them when the temperatures drop.
We're like 20-2. I could do that math real quick.
Well, you're a Princeton guy.
Ah. And I was number 20.
On second and long, Thomas rears back and throws low and incomplete. Looking for Malik Williams. Williams, typically, anything you throw his way, he'll come away with it. Has a nickname, Spider-Man. We found that out talking to Coach Clark earlier this week. And a part of that conversation, Foss mentioned that Spider-Man is his favorite superhero, which got me into wondering why. Because at Princeton, his teammate, his roommate was Dean Cain.
Yes.
So how do you say that when you were roommates and still friends with to this day, Superman?
We fought a lot about it, but I came up with a solution because, too, as you mentioned, being from Princeton, there's always a way, and I found one.
On third down, Thomas feeling the heat and flips it to the sideline. Bobcats got some backside pressure there. Sione Tupou was hounding in, and Thomas just able to shovel it away.
Well, here's my question. The ball did not get back to the line of scrimmage, Brant, so shouldn't this be intentional grounding? I know he was outside of the – okay, there it comes.
Yeah, flag has been thrown against Zach Thomas, a retroactive flag against the quarterback.
Intentional grounding, offense number 11.
He's slower than we are up here in the box.
Foul, fourth down.
But I did find a way, and now Superman is my favorite superhero in the DC comic group.
All right,
and then I can still maintain Spidey over with Marvel.
Fair enough. So the Bobcats come up with a stop, and this is an important final 4 minutes for Texas State. The Mountaineers will have the football to begin this second half. And the Mountaineers would love nothing more than a two-possession lead with the ball to start the third quarter as Haydell is slung down. Right as he caught the football, heads-up play made by Jordan Hellig for Appalachian State. No big return that time for Jeremiah Haydell. So if you're the Bobcats here, Foss, 3:49, 3 timeouts left. If you can piece together a touchdown drive, cut this to a 4-point lead, you feel as if you're right there.
Oh, absolutely. And as we spoke off air, this
Texas State
Bobcat
takes
team
over
is
first down
probably
and
their
10
own worst
from their
enemy.
own
There's probably
24
14
yard
points that they most likely didn't have to give away to an Appalachian State team that is very good. But you're right. Bobcats would be right in it with the touchdown.
Vitt is cooled off after a hot start. Here slings it out to Calvin Hill and can't slip the tackle. That's one thing as Shamar Jean Charles makes the play about App State's defense. When they get their hands on you, you're not getting away.
That's attitude. That's just somebody who wants to make a tackle. And what App State has done is they've sprinkled that on all of their players that play defense, that make tackles, and it shows up in games.
A loss of 5. 8 in coverage for App State here. Pass off the hands of Jamarie Shareed. And the Bobcats all of a sudden faced with 3rd and 15. So we spoke about the importance of this drive. It's consumed 37 seconds. They've moved backwards.
Well, you don't want to give Zach Thomas an opportunity to maybe display a 2-minute drill on the road. This is a great day. We talked about it, so there's no elements or precipitation that would stop either one of these quarterbacks from having great conditions to move their team.
3rd down. Here's the blitz. Good protection. Vitt steps up. Looking to run and make a play. And gets tackled to the sideline in front of his bench. Stop made by Nick Hampton, the sophomore out of Anderson, South Carolina. And that all-important Bobcat drive ends in a 3-and-out.
Well, listen, there's 2:55 on the clock still. So that gives Zach Thomas a whole bunch of time. And sometimes you want to run a 2-minute drill when you don't have a lot of timeouts in your back pocket.
Well, how about the move there, though, by Tyler Vitt? Kind of broke the ankles a bit there, Demetrius Taylor. Didn't get the first down, but has a highlight on the film.
Was a good move right in front of us here.
Williams back to return the punt from O'Kelly. Fair catch is made short of the 35-yard line. So the Bobcats, again, a 3-and-out on that last possession. That is their second 3-and-out today. And 3-and-outs have been a big problem for the Bobcats this year, getting off the field far too quickly, not giving the defense a chance to catch its breath. And they get worn down as the game goes along.
You'd love to have at least 2 or 3 different times to move the chains,
Appalachian State starts their drive,
as you
first down
mentioned,
and 10
and
from their
spell
own 34
your
yard
other major unit. And the defense coming back out quickly here, and plenty of time for a guy like Zach Thomas.
Meanwhile, App State has had a bunch of long and lengthy drives.
Yes.
Big reason why the defense has been so good this year. They're well rested. Harrington stopped after a 3-yard gain. 2nd down coming up for Appalachian State.
Good effort, though, by the Bobcats. So, you know, the defense, at least here in the first half, has recognized, you know, if they can just get off the field without any more scoring, they can go into halftime and regroup.
You see the long drives for App State. 15 drives this year, consuming 10 or more plays, 8 consuming 5 or more minutes. As Thomas pressured by Rebels. Thomas still running. Zach Thomas will throw it to the sidelines and caught. Great adjustment of the football made by Christian Wells. Another big catch for him, close to a first down.
Christian Wells right, I mean, literally below us. Made himself available, and if Zach Thomas could get him the ball, he was definitely open.
And the hurry up, a pass complete to Thomas Hennigan. You talk about a veteran presence on this team. Hennigan, the senior out of Greensboro, North Carolina. Another captain on this team, preseason second team, all Sun Belt. Has been to this program for a long time. One of the favorite targets for quarterback Zach Thomas. Looking for him again. He comes down with it. How about that play from Hennigan? With the defender closing in, Hennigan somehow comes up with the catch.
Well, that was just pure confidence from Zach Thomas, because that ball got threaded between 2 defenders and into a tight window, Brent Freeman. And as you mentioned, Thomas Hennigan goes up and catches that ball with 2 mitts and almost breaks free of the secondary for Texas State and could have scored, but a good tackle to save a touchdown on a very low percentage throw that goes for a first down.
A banged up Texas State secondary. The Bobcats have had to shuffle in and out a lot of players. A corner blitz here. Another catch for Hennigan. inside the 30. And with 1:04 to go, I believe App State is called for a timeout.
Timeout. Appalachian State, they're first. It'll be 30 seconds.
And yes, the Mountaineers do call for a timeout. And it comes with 1:04 to go here in the first half. App State on top 21-10. We mentioned on the previous Bobcat possession how important it would be for them to come away with a score. Now if you're App State, you get the sense you could put your foot on the throat a bit here and take what could potentially be an 18-point lead with possession to start the third quarter.
Well, 18 points means 3 scores, as opposed to even, 2 if you go for the 8, or if you get 2 touchdowns, you'll be right back in it. So yes, this is a big drive here for both of these teams, depending on your viewpoint.
App State head coach Sean Clark talked about him being an App State lifer, has been a part of 85 wins with his program as a player, as an assistant, and now as a head coach. On second down, a screen and a throw. Williams for Hennigan, and Texas State wasn't fooled there. The Mountaineers again going a little deep into the playbook there, taking a shot on second and short, but they come up empty.
Well, I tell you, that was great assignment football in the secondary by the Texas State Bobcats, because the Bobcats right there, if you let that receiver go and you have a double pass for a touchdown, that's even worse than the traditional way of getting into the end zone, but a great job in the secondary by the Bobcats.
Now third and short, and it's Peoples spun around and close to the marker, and I think that second effort, the lean by Peoples, enough for the first down for App State, and it is. Or I beg your pardon, Marcus Williams on the run for App State.
Got it with the spin, Brant.
Timeout. Appalachian State, they're second. It'll be 30 seconds.
Getting back to Texas State secondary, just how banged up they are. Again, playing players out of position. You have safeties playing cornerback. Coach Spavital told us that when the season started, the Bobcats had 13 healthy bodies at defensive back. They are now down to 5.
That math is bad, no matter how you look at it. And as you mentioned, there is a difference in playing cornerback and safety. And so
look at the last third down run, by the way, and that second effort from Williams to get the first down.
Yes, the spin. And just Williams just recognizing if he could get his pads squared to the line of scrimmage and fall forward, he was going to probably get 3 or more feet, which it was 3rd and 1. And right there, as you mentioned, Brant, the first down was picked up.
Saw Cole Garrison in on that play for the Mountaineers, their big left tackle. We have more on him coming up later. App State down to 1 timeout left, on the doorstep of more points as we wind down in the first half. Thomas now with an empty backfield. The veteran steps up, slings it, incomplete for Wells. Austin Deason was there for the Bobcats. He's gripping his right shoulder right now.
Oh no, I tell you, it was a great break on the ball, as you mentioned. If you do not want to have any more defenders with issues, but that was a great opportunity in the secondary to get that ball away. May have been an opportunity to intercept, but at least the ball was broken up right before it had an opportunity to possibly be caught.
And Deason now gingerly walking back to the sidelines. You talk about a position the Bobcats can ill afford to lose anybody. It is in the secondary, and if you're App State now, you have to be smelling blood in the water.
You're going to attack that new secondary person in some way, shape, or form.
Second down, 10 to go, with 38 seconds left in the second quarter. Here's Thomas. Zach Thomas steps up, going to run. Thomas angling for the sideline, has it forced out by DeJordan Mask. The player who has returned to the secondary this week after missing the previous 4 games.
Good coverage in the secondary because, Zach Thomas, if he's willing to throw in the tight spaces to Hennigan earlier in this drive, he must not have seen anything that he could have converted. But he's also trying to be smart to say, listen, I believe I'm in field goal range, if nothing else, and I don't want to do anything crazy to turn this ball over almost to the red zone.
App State has been so good on third downs today. 5 for 8, converting on third down. Bobcats bring the blitz into the flat. Williams inside the 20, and I don't think he got it. Stopped about a yard short with 21 seconds to go, and Williams slow to get up for Appalachian State. Stops the clock for the time being.
Looked like Coleman, number 7, just put a nice lick on the aforementioned
Timeout.
Williams.
Appalachian State,
was a wallop.
their third and final.
Gets out in the
It'll be
flat,
30 seconds.
Turns upfield, everything looks good. But then at the end, a pretty big hit by number 7.
Markavian Coleman goes by the nickname of Binky. Williams was able to get away from J.R. Morris before Coleman had the hit. As we approach the final few seconds here of the first half, and good to see Williams making his way back to the huddle.
Reminds me of another guy with the last name Coleman, first name Marcus on the all-time Texas Tech football. And Marcus is a sneaky guy. He's very quiet, but he'd hit you like that too. 6'2", a lot of firepower and speed. And yeah, I like to stay away from guys like that unless you're inviting them over for supper.
And Coleman was a part of the inaugural Houston Texans team back in '02. Stand out for the field goal try. 3 of 6 on field goals this season. 72% for his career. This from 33 yards out, and it is good. Snuck it inside the left upright. And App State's lead grows to 24-10. If you're the Bobcats, they're a minor victory. App State got points, but it remains a 2-score game.
That's right, and that's all important because, again, the psychology, what's between the ears makes a lot of difference in a football game and what you can believe you can accomplish. And right there, a great stand by the defense. I know you didn't want to have more points on the board, but as you mentioned, you could actually take the lead with 2 scores if you're Texas State.
Brought this up earlier. App State has won 45 out of its last 50 Sun Belt Conference games. This after the Mountaineers lost their first 2 games as members of the Sun Belt by 20 and 26 points. But then that third game, they went to Troy, Alabama, and blew out the Trojans. Then head coach Scott Satterfield was so satisfied and happy with the win, thought it might be a corner-turning win for the program as members of the Sun Belt and the FBS took the entire team out for milkshakes. That's a big roster. That's a long time to wait for milkshakes, but they waited and made sure every single player, coaching staff member got their creamy treat.
And I'd probably try to win and go 11-0 if I get a milkshake after a game.
Here's a short kickoff fielded at the 25. Return man for the Bobcats, Isaiah Nixon, out across the 30, but with 10 seconds left, not much left for the Bobcats to do, despite the fact they have all 3 timeouts remaining.
Well, you may want to try to see if you can get one down the field to Haydell or Barbie, because a catch is great, penalty works, but at least it keeps App State on its toes to say that Texas State's just not going to fold it up and go into halftime.
So here's Tyler Vitt with 10 seconds to go. It's a draw for Jeter. And the Bobcats waving the proverbial white flag here in the first half. So App State will take a 14-point lead.
That is the end of the second quarter.
Into the locker rooms as they angle for their 8th straight Sun Belt Conference win on the road. The Mountaineers got the scoring started on a touchdown pass to Miller Gibbs, a 33-yard strike from the veteran Zach Thomas. Then a pick 6, courtesy of Brendan Harrington. This App State defense making another play on another pick for App State's defense. And then Thomas, his second touchdown pass to the defensive lineman Caleb Spurlin. Mountaineers on top, 24-10. Tyler Vitt, a bit of a surprise start at quarterback for the Bobcats today. The quarterback who started the last 5 games for Texas State, Brady McBride, struggling over his last 2, leading to a change. But Vitt and the Bobcats are down 14 as we start the third quarter here from Bobcat Stadium. Coach Spavital, Coach Clark looking on The Mountaineers will have possession first, and they'll start at their own 25-yard line. So the good news for the Bobcats late in the first half, Foster, is that they were able to hold App State to a field goal to keep this a two-possession game. But the bad news, if you're Texas State, is that the Mountaineers are on offense to start the third quarter.
Well, you know, it was a good defensive stop, though, to keep App State out of the end zone. So you can build on that, too. You know, as my dad would say, no matter how flat the pancake, there's still two sides. Got that from Ross Perot. I tell you, there's a lot of learning in the Foster household.
So on first down, it's Zach Thomas starting the third quarter for Appalachian State as expected. And a short run on first down for the Mountaineers will bring up second down and long. Harrington on the carry. That's his 12th today. What a busy and productive first half it was for Datrick Harrington.
Love to be him. You know, as a running back, you want to have the ball in your hands. I think, you know, if you're worth your salt in that position, you want to get it. I want to have the handoffs more and more because you really do run better instinctively.
On second down, Virgil, the motion man for the Mountaineers. Harrington on the handoff, able to break a tackle for a second before Brendan Looper, who was a question mark coming into the game, has a stop short of the sticks. Harrington now calling to come out of the game on third and short for Appalachian State.
He got hit hard on the far side, and, you know, listen, kudos to that Bobcat defense. They're not just trying to let number 4 just run all over him or any of the running backs by committee for App State.
Harrington gripping that left hand. Third down and 2. And the Mountaineers moved on the offensive line. This will come back 5 yards.
False start, offense number 74. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
Get that against Anderson Hardy on the offensive line.
And again, that may show that the App State offensive linemen who have done very well as a unit today, Brant, maybe feeling some of that pressure that Texas State came with here on this first drive coming out of the locker rooms at halftime.
The Mountaineers on third down of the first half, very good. 5 for 9 for Coach Clark's football team. On 3rd and 7, swing pass caught by Nate Noel. Noel the first down. Looper shoves him out just shy of midfield. Good looking true freshman out of Miami, Florida. Talked about this big stable of running backs for App State. They've got depth for miles.
You can see that now. See one of the Bobcats sitting down.
It's Dave Jordan Mask. Mask was a question mark coming into the game today. Had missed the last 4 games because of injury. Again, this has been a secondary for the Bobcats, decimated by injuries so far this season.
And right now, you know, some people would say, hey, maybe they sat down to stop the momentum of App State. I think that's a legitimate concern right there. And right now, on the move is App State.
Fans having a good time here at Bobcat Stadium. Temperature's not too bad in the upper 70s here in San Marcos. Mountaineers on offense, their first possession of the third quarter and nursing a 14-point lead. Here's Thomas on first down. Steps up, he'll run, slips one tackle, and then finally wrapped up by the former Red Raider Christian Taylor. And that's going to bring up second down for Appalachian State. Again, Thomas, so much faith in that offensive line. Good protection there for a while. And found a big hole to run through as nobody was open in the secondary. And there you see one of his big old linemen, Cole Garrison, a senior out of Pinson, Alabama. Get more in his story here in a moment. And here is Noel, had a big third down catch earlier. That brings up third down on a short run. So Garrison, again, great story, a semifinalist for the William V. Campbell Trophy that goes to the nation's top football scholar athlete, has been accepted to UAB's medical school after his 5.13 ranked in the top 13% of MCAT scoring, scheduled to graduate next month and attend medical school with a desire especially in either orthopedics or in trauma. You're a Princeton guy. You can appreciate a smart play when you see one. Cole Garrison is doing a lot of great things off the field.
He sure is, Brant.
Third down, pass in the flat, broken up by Looper. Mountaineers looking for Henry Pearson, and the Bobcat defense gets a stop on third down.
He actually reminds me of a guy of my other alma mater, that being Nebraska, and one of our offensive linemen, Rob Zadechka. Rob Zadechka had a 4.0, then went to medical school. I think the size comparison is going to be similar for those two than something that I could come up with. Plus, man, I bowed out of all that blood stuff after 7th grade biology.
And here is the punt from Subach. Haydell will field it at the 10 and tripped up. The flag, though, is in on the back end of the play. So a penalty marker here to clean up as they do that. Quick story on Garrison, by the way. On a road trip at Penn State his freshman season, his teammates went into one of the meeting rooms for movie night. Enjoy themselves, take some of the stress off, and enjoy a movie. Well, Cole instead went to go study
During
for
the return,
Kimlau.
illegal block in the back, receiving team number 88. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
So the Bobcats backed up and trailing by 14 early in the third quarter. Programs 3 years ago, a finish that came down to the wire. Who remembers Titans and Rams? Well, a tackle there at the 1-yard line of Elijah King, with the Bobcats going in for a potential game-tying or game-winning touchdown as App State held on to a 20-13 win in San Marcos. Bobcats in the first third quarter possession, a quarterback run for Tyler Vitt. Got lassoed down on the play by Ryan Huff. So the Bobcats have never beaten Appalachian State. Most of the games have been decidedly in the Mountaineers' favor, with the exception of that game 3 years ago.
Right now, 24-10 is respectable, but Bobcats got to get, again, out from their own shadow of their own end zone, literally, and get some points on the board.
Well, on second down, here's Vitt. Here's a blitz. Steps up to run. He can run for days. If not for the tackle there by Jackson, Vitt may have been gone across the 25-yard line for a first down.
I'll take a first down. Great decision.
Again, you saw there, Ryan Huff had the angle. Vitt, though, made a miss. And there is a Mountaineer player down at the 5-yard line. A lot of stoppages for players going down, and it was the aforementioned Ryan Huff. Huff, a junior out of Athens, Georgia, had a big game last week. Couple of picks in the win over ULM in Monroe. 3 this year, ties him for the nation lead. Another one of those great players in the secondary. The Bobcats lack depth in the secondary. Appalachian State does not. And you see Huff here, the back end of it, reaching for Tyler Vitt, and fell down awkwardly as Vitt got away.
And great ability for Vitt. Shake off a defender and still in the pocket and then get the positive yards. And now it's first down at the 25, as you mentioned, Brant.
You see Coach Spavital calling plays for the Bobcats this season. Did not do it last year in his first season at Texas State. Here's Vitt for Barbie and dropped it. A tight window. Barbie, though, got a hand on it. Brings up second down and 10. So, again, Coach Spavital didn't call the plays points a game to include a 22-point win in Boone last year. But Coach Spavital wanted to get the play-calling duties back, and he loves it. More than anything, loves the competitive nature of calling plays and really enjoying it this year. Calls a big play here. Jamil Jeter, what a day for Texas State inside of midfield. Best game of the season thus far for the former Oklahoma State Cowboy.
You can see the talent that you have out of your rusher, number 28 for Texas State. And to be able to do something like that against this App State front line, who had the advantage against the Bobcats for most of the first half, is a bonus.
On first down, after the big run from Jeter. Vitt off the play fake, wanted to go deep. It was covered, so Vitt takes off to run. Vitt scrambles for a good 7-yard gallop. The slide, though, will take it back about a yard or so to bring up second down and 4. last run for Jamil Jeter, by the way, was good for 27 yards.
It was, and it was impressive. Wasn't very fancy. It was one of the how do you get down the field, use A to B, straight line, and good blocking up front for the Bobcats.
Second down for Vitt. Off the play fake, pressured and throws the ball away. Trey Cobb was right there in his face to bring up third down. We were discussing Coach Spavital. As
No
the
foul for
Mountaineers, I
intentional
think,
grounding. The passer was outside of the tackle box, and the ball passed the line of scrimmage.
looking for intentional grounding. Don't get it because Vitt did his job.
Exactly.
But one of the individuals that Coach Spavital spoke to this week, longtime friend of his, now the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah, grew up down the street in New Braunfels, and he seems to be getting the Cardinals up and down the field pretty well with Kyler Murray.
Third down, 4 to go for Texas State. Vitt pressured again, throws and a completion inside the 35. And the Bobcats move the chains on their third down conversion. And a big target for Vitt so far today has been T.J. Graham.
Whoever it needs to be, let it be. A little Beatles reference there for the over 40 crowd. But you know what? I like how Tyler Vitt extended that last pass play by getting the defender away from him, using his left arm and having enough strength to find the ball and get it downfield.
After the third down completion, Vitt to the air again. It's off the hands of a defender. DeMarco Jackson jumped right into the passing lane. We've talked about this junior out of Spartanburg, South Carolina, several times today. The Mountaineers' top returning tackler from a year ago had a huge game against Arkansas State. Speaking of defending passes, 2 interceptions for Jackson in that game, both coming in the end zone.
Well, I tell you, Jackson gets depth from that second-level linebacker position to be able to, 1, read the eyes of the quarterback, and 2, find where the receivers are running their routes.
Empty backfield here for Vitt. On second down, low throw. Graham could not haul it in before it hit the turf. There is a flag back, though, where Vitt threw the pass. Could be a hold against Texas State.
Personal foul, tripping, offense number 73, 15-yard penalty, replay second down.
And not holding for the Bobcats, worse than that.
I know, and it's hard, and I can understand Cooper trying to say, listen, I'm diving and blocking. You get me for tripping. That's 15.
Yeah, but clearly got the right leg out there against Demetrius Taylor.
It's just how I fall, Brent. It's just how I fall.
Like, Taylor's tough to block. Cooper trying to do all that he can. Coach Spavital has called him one of the better offensive linemen in the program. Makes it now 2nd and 25. Vitt with a deep drop. Rears back and throws. And a catch inside the 30. Another flag is in on the opposite side of the field away from the play. The catch again brought in by Graham, but we'll see if it stands.
Well, see, here's the thing. This flag comes way away from the play side, which is across the field. So if this goes against Texas State, they're just getting hit by flag-happy crew in that regard. And I see Coach just down there going, you got to be kidding me.
Pass interference, offense number 9, 15-yard penalty, replay second down.
I agree with him, Brant.
Against the former Washington State Cougar, Drew Jackson. You see it again. Vitt with great protection, long enough to connect Graham on that passing route, and Jackson's nowhere in the picture. You heard Foss mention it, opposite play side, and Coach Spavital is looking for answers.
Well, again, things happen away from the ball, but to negate a good offense or a good play by a team in general because of something going on between players on the other side, you just tell them about it and you move on.
On second down and 40, Jeter trying to make a play for the Bobcats. Making up some lost yardage there. A flag is in on the back end of this play.
The line judge again with another call right in front of us. It's frustrating, and I feel that frustration as a former player and coach. It's tough.
Offense number 18, 10-yard penalty, replay second down.
Folks, the Bobcats have to cover half the length of the football field to convert a first down. Again, penalties have not been an issue for the Bobcats this season. With that flag, Texas State up to 5 penalties in the game, 3 coming on this drive alone.
Well, it's how and when.
And they get it right there. You saw Barbie was blocking against Gene Charles. And now it's 2nd and 50. You're seeing that right. Vitt, little safe pass to Brock Sturgis. Sturgis making up for some of that lost yardage. They mark him out of the App State 42-yard line, but still the Bobcats are in need of close to 20 yards to move the chains.
Well, the good thing was you got positive yards, 1, Brant, and 2, you didn't get the yellow cloth onto the field because, you know, again, I think Tyler Vitt making some very good decisions in the pocket.
Officially marked 3rd down and 35. Vitt completes to Barbie making a move, stumbles inside the 30. Not enough for the first down, but if you're the Bobcats here, that's enough for field goal range.
I think you're right, or maybe you roll the dice a little bit at 4th and about 7, 6, 7. And let's say, you know, Vitt feeling good, and you like to see your quarterback with some exuberance like you see, because this was probably like 1st and a mile, and you've at least handed off to half of the USA mile relay team.
2 plays ago was 2nd and 50. Now 4th and 5. The Bobcats had 3 4th-down conversions last week. Vitt stepping up, slinging it for Haydell into traffic and intercepted. Shamar Jean Charles the play inside the 10 as the Mountaineers pick off Vitt for the 2nd time this afternoon.
Well, it's like a tight punt, but I think maybe just take 6 or 7 yards. That pass is hard to complete to the near sideline because you don't have the room to make the adjustments, and you were throwing it into coverage.
So the 2nd mistake made by Vitt today. The Mountaineers have their 2nd pick of the junior quarterback and lead by 14. Shamar Jean Charles, the interception of Tyler Vitt moments ago. 2nd career interception for the senior out of Florida. One of the best defensive backs in the country. Again, this is one of the best cornerback tandems in the nation. After the pick, Appalachian State's offense back to work and a big 1st down run for the Mountaineers. And that's Harrington. If you recall, Harrington was gripping his hand earlier in the quarter. Had a 1st down run there for the Mountaineers, and they're back to work quickly again. Harrington again, and this time settles for about 4 yards. So we showed you earlier App State and their ability to create havoc, force mistakes, all the interceptions they've had over the past 5 years. Nobody in the country has more, as Thomas bootlegs and throws complete across the 40-yard line. And that time hitting Trey Ross. A lot of passes to tight ends for Thomas here today.
Good squaring again of the shoulders by Thomas, and you have that tight end who lines up in a 3-point stance with his hand down on the line looking like he's going to block, and then he just trails the play and comes available across the middle for Thomas.
And now some tempo from this App State offense. Harrington again lunging ahead for a couple more.
Harrington only 11 for 44 last week. Well, he's made up for lost time, Brant, this week.
On the tackle that time for the Bobcats, their junior from Manville, London Harris. Inside of 6 minutes to go here in the 3rd. App State nursing this 24-10 lead. And looking to pick up their 5th win in a row. Bobcats trying to snap a 5-game losing streak. A bootleg play again, and again a tight end. It's Pearson. Got tripped up by Jaron Morris. They're going to mark him just shy of the 1st down. The Bobcats offensively lacking tight ends because of health issues. The Mountaineers have a bevy of them and using them right here this afternoon.
Yeah, and again, the passes that Thomas is making to these tight ends are very easy to execute, and that's what you like. It builds up confidence, and as you mentioned, Brant, almost each reception going for a 1st down.
Bobcats looking for a stop on 3rd down. It's the quarterback, Thomas. Turns the corner, able to evade Looper, and then loses the football as he leaps, but the ball goes out of bounds. Thomas picks up the first down, going airborne. The Mountaineer drive continues.
That's a dangerous play by a senior quarterback, and he really got lucky because the ball was in the inside arm. You'd like to have it in the outside arm, Brant, just for those purposes, because if the ball gets loose on the inside arm, it can stay in the field of play. If it's in the outside arm, and I've been there, it goes out of bounds for you, and you don't have to listen to your offensive coordinator.
Final 4 minutes of the third quarter. App State looking to add upon a 24-10 lead. Thomas rears back and throws, and the pass is nearly picked. Dropped by Virgil, and Markavian Coleman could not haul it in off the deflection. With the Bobcats defensively having right there on a number of turnovers today, but they have yet to actually secure one.
Well, it's tough. You know, the turnover is most important, just like a catch, the end of it. And right there, Coleman with the golden opportunity to take the ball away. He just didn't get his mitts underneath that ball, and it falls harmlessly to the turf band.
App State, a 4-1 football team. Only loss came on September the 19th against Marshall. Here's Harrington on the run. Will bring up third down and medium to go. Funny thing about that game at Marshall, though, what has been a bizarre 2020 season for a number of teams in the country is that 18 players and 3 coaches were ruled out for that game because of COVID issues. They were quarantined on the bus.
3-yard gain on the play. This is third down.
App State undermanned and lost to a very good Thundering Herd team, which is currently ranked in the top 25. On third down, another run play. It's Peoples. Make that Williams. Bounces it to the outside. And Williams, veteran running back for App State, moves the chains. The Mountaineers again on third down find a way to move the sticks.
Yes, and you see the difference between the rushes. You can have Harrington that usually goes between the tackles, but you got a guy like Williams that likes to bounce the ball out to what I call the sideline express. And the reason why the sideline is so good for a running back is then you know the defenders only come from one side. So you can make it a foot race and see how much yards you can get before that contact comes from inside out.
Williams ran for over 100 yards in the win last week over the Warhawks in Monroe. On first down, his number called again. Stood up by Braden Stringer and Brendan Looper. With 2.5 minutes to go in the third quarter, App State leading 24-10.
Tackle made by number 33, Braden Stringer.
Marshall, the Mountaineers had an all-out outbreak within the program. They had to shut down. App State didn't play again for 26 days.
That brings up
and again, they were chomping at the bit. When they played again, they hammered Arkansas State on a Thursday night in Boone, North Carolina, to the tune of a 45-17 win. Long drive for App State. This is the 11th play. It's already covered more than 70 yards. Off the play fake, another pass to a tight end, Pearson. And Zion Childress, a true freshman, to tackle out in space. Childress, I mentioned true freshman. Coach Babital ideally wanted to keep him on the bench this year or use him as a backup. But because of all the injuries, he's been starting games, has been having to grow up awfully fast.
Yes, you said. Started with 13 in the secondary, now down to 5. Everybody's going to have to play.
You might have to play in the secondary.
I don't want to tackle anything, Brant.
You're a running back.
Yeah, that's right.
You don't hit people, you take hits.
I can hit them, but I don't want to tackle. It's different.
False start.
False start. Offense number 81. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
So Brant, you talk about having 5 DBs. Well, Coach talked about that. And Coach Babb, he can't even go to a dime package, which is 6 defensive backs because you only have 5. You can only play nickel.
So after the penalty, third down and 6 to go. With a minute left in the third, App State in control, looking to build upon this lead. Here's Thomas and a completion to Williams. Spider-Man that time comes up with a play. Close to the first down marker.
I think he's short and a good closing tackle.
And yeah, they're going to mark him short by about a yard.
Looper coming in. And I like that. You want to have somebody with some grit saying you're not going to get to the sticks.
And Coach Clark keeping his offense out there.
Fourth down.
Thomas under center. Keeps it himself, and Thomas able to move the pile. Bobcats believe they stopped him. We got a close spot here.
So I give that the TB12 move because Brady or you can go Aaron Rodgers, they like to get those first downs like that and a good push. But I think this could be close if they have to come out and measure. I love the effort by Texas State.
Well, it looked like our head official, Wayne Winkler, just now signaled for a first down. But the down markers have not moved, but now they do, so no measurement. Although it looks like the ball is right at the 16-yard line where the Mountaineers had to reach.
The referee has that authority. Sometimes we don't like that.
Yeah. Whistles blown before the snap. This might be under review.
Timeout. Appalachian State, they're first.
Instead, App State calls for the timeout. Did they get it in before the quarter ended? And actually, no timeout. That is the end of the third quarter. So we played 45, 15 to go. App State leading 24-10. And they actually put 2 seconds back on the third quarter clock, so we're not done with the third yet. That was an App State timeout, so this should be the final play of the third. On first down, Thomas off the play fake to the end zone. The pass is broken up in the end zone by Jordan Mask as Thomas was angling for Christian Wells. That is the end of the third quarter. So the Bobcats get a defensive play in the third, but they need more. Trailing 24-10 as we head into quarter four from Bobcat Stadium with the Mountaineers on top by 14. We faked you out last time, but we meet it this time for realsies. Ready to start the fourth quarter as there were 2 seconds put back on the third quarter clock after we thought the quarter had ended. Fourth quarter starts now with App State on top 24-10. And on second down, Williams looking for a lane. And a physical run down to the 10-yard line. Physicality, I think, is the best word to describe this App State football team. They want to hit you in the mouth.
And they also ran out of some tackles. Benson was there, number 8 for Texas State, to make that play just a short yard gain. But as you mentioned, Williams just keeping the leg drive going, and the tight end's blocking out in front.
Brings up third down for App State. So far in third downs today, 8 of 14. Here's Thomas on the rollout to the end zone. Low throw, brought in by Virgil for the touchdown. 9th career touchdown for Jalen Virgil. And App State may be applying the nail into the coffin.
A 9-yard touchdown pass from Zach Thomas to number 11, Jalen Virgil.
Well, again, you have an opportunity for Zach Thomas to break contain to his dominant throwing arm. And right there you see just a very good pass where only one person was going to make that catch, Brant, and that was his receiver, not the Texas State secondary. And a touchdown pass, well-placed ball.
Virgil, regarded as one of the top athletes in the Sun Belt Conference, an athletic play there. Call on the field is confirmed, by the way. And Stanton's point after is through. The Mountaineers building on their lead. Zach Thomas, touchdown pass number 3 today, number 60 in his career. Let's put the Mountaineers on top 31-10 early on here in the fourth quarter. So again, what an afternoon it has been for Zach Thomas and the App State offense. 31 points on the board and a 21-point lead in San Marcos. When you're up 21 points in the fourth quarter, you can bust out moves like this. I know that I do from time to time. Shamar Jean-Charles showing off his moves during the last stoppage following a long touchdown run for Appalachian State. 16-play drive, 91 yards, 7 minutes and 26 seconds off the clock. And now the Bobcats in a very tight hole, down by 21 points. Again, this App State team has had so much success over the last several seasons. Really, it extends beyond the last 5 years. They were such a dominant FCS program. At one point won 3 straight national championships from 05 to 07. You look, though, at recent history, only Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State, and Oklahoma have more wins than Appalachian State does. That's saying something.
Oh, absolutely. It's top 5. You know, it is what it is.
On first down, Vitt will throw it to Javen Banks. Remember, he opened the game with a touchdown on the 3rd play from scrimmage. On a 75-yard play, that one goes for nothing.
Well, that's where dancing was not going to assist you in a football game. I think you just try to get all you can as the pitch and catch. 11 to 12, as you mentioned, Banks with the catch, but a lot of spinning and dancing, and the result of the play is actually a 0 gain.
On second down and 10, Vitt feeling some heat, throws that one incomplete. Looking at the far side of the field for Graham, his favorite target, Jolly, defending. The common denominator, all those wins, has been the stability at quarterback for Appalachian State. Before it was Zach Thomas, it was Taylor Lamb. Had a bunch of starts under his belt, a lot of wins. And Thomas learned from Lamb and said everything that he has come to know about the position, he learned that from the previous starting quarterback at Appalachian State. So they have gone from one QB to the other, and they have not missed a beat. On third down, here's a corner blitz. Vitt escapes the grasp of Jolly. Down the field for Barbie, and the pass incomplete, but there's contact, and the flag is called.
Good call.
Caden Smith against Marcel Barbie.
And I like Barbie taking off, just letting Vitt just let the ball go. And what the problem was is that the secondary couldn't locate the ball, and the call is definitely going to go against them. And I don't think the folks on the other side liked that call, but that one was pretty obvious, as it was going to be some type of pass interference or defensive holding.
You have to give Vitt credit, too, able to string that play long enough to where a penalty is simply a possibility.
Or a catch, you know. And at the beginning, I thought that you may have had an opportunity for Barbie to take off and this be a reception, but either way, it's still a first down.
Bobcats have got to score on this drive if they have any hope to come back and win this game. Second down and long coming up after that run by Calvin Hill. Mention all the wins for App State over the past 5 years, and a lot of those have come in Sun Belt Conference play. They've been dominant in the Sun Belt. Again, they come into today having won 45 out of their past 50 in Sun Belt Conference action. On second down, Calvin Hill again, and Hill breaks the initial tackle, still going, and a first down inside his midfield. Only 2 teams have a longer current streak of conference championships in the country than Appalachian State. As you look back at the Calvin Hill run, a runner that Coach Clark for App State was really impressed with on film.
Well, he should be, because you have a guy who's 170 pounds busting out of tackles, as you mentioned, from a very solid App State defense.
Off the play fake. Vitt pressured and throws incomplete for Banks. Again, he took a shot. Pressure applied by Tommy Dawkins Jr. That'll set up second down and 10 to go.
I think Nick Hampton, the outside linebacker, also got a free run at Vitt.
Only Clemson and Oklahoma have a longer current streak of consecutive conference championships than these Mountaineers. Now, the first 2 of those regular season titles.
Yes.
The last 2 have been conference championship game wins. The Sun Belt didn't have a title game until 2 years ago. Vitt on second down is slung down after a short gain by Nick Hampton. The Mountaineers have not only won both games, they have hosted both games, both times playing Louisiana, the Ragin' Cajuns. I will say this, though.
Yes.
App State's streak of conference championships, Coastal Carolina, might have something to say about that this year.
They are ranked in the top 20. They do come here for the last home game of the season for Texas State.
3rd down, 8 to go. Here's Vitt with 8 in coverage. Slings it over the middle and a catch. Javen Banks again. Banks twisted down inside the 30-yard line. Vitt, another impressive 3rd down throw, but there is a flag.
I think this is going to be tacked on to the end of the run as Tyler Vitt took a
Personal
shot.
foul, roughing the passer, defense number 57. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
That's one of the captains, Elijah Dirasuba, on the penalty there for App State. But again, Vitt, in the face of pressure,
Yes.
stands tall.
Yes, and you can see how penalties aided App State. Now, turnabout is fair play as the Bobcats getting inside the red zone, inside the 15 even, Brant, because of the roughing the passer call against, or on, I should say, Tyler Vitt. Depends on which preposition you'd like to use.
You're the Princeton guy, you tell me.
Hey, first down.
Bobcats in the red zone. Well, they've been very good this season. It's Calvin Hill on the carry. No, a play fake and a pass to the end zone for the touchdown. Marcel Barbie, his 8th this season. And the Bobcats trying to climb back in it.
Well, this great play fake. I think it may have caught you just a little bit, partner, but a great toss. Not enough to where you want to knock your receiver down, but just enough to make the adjustment there on a quick, skinny post. And as you mentioned, number 18, Barbie, with a nice 15-yard reception for a touchdown.
Off of the point after Seth Keller to make it a 14-point game. And this one is not over yet. 11 minutes and change left. Tyler Vitt with his 2nd touchdown pass of the day. Marcel Barbie, his team leading 8th touchdown catch of the season. The Bobcats on a must-score drive score. It's a 14-point game in San Marcos. It's not easy to throw against this App State defense, but so far, Bobcat junior quarterback Tyler Vitt holding his own. Just threw a 2nd touchdown pass of the day, completing an 8-play, 75-yard drive. The touchdown pass to Marcel Barbie. And the Bobcats are not done yet.
Barbie getting close to 400 yards receiving on the season himself. He's added another touchdown too, Brant.
Thought for a moment Jacob Bates might be onsiding instead. The deep kick, and the Mountaineers will start at their own 25-yard line. We referenced the conversation that Coach Spavital had with Cliff Kingsbury earlier this week. It was regarding Brady McBride, who was the starting quarterback for the Bobcats to open the season and for the past 5 games. Of course, Coach Spavital making a change at quarterback this week to Tyler Vitt. But when talking to Cliff Kingsbury, it's about the fact that sometimes young players have to just live through the mistakes, learn from them to get better. Kingsbury himself threw 17 interceptions his first season in Lubbock. Went on to have a phenomenal career, though, under Mike Leach at Texas Tech.
You're right. The turnovers, you got to figure them out.
That's been an issue for Brady McBride as Thomas takes his shot and the pass is broken up. Good play by Jaron Morse along the far side of the field.
Morris had tremendous closing on that pass. Now, it was a long throw to complete, and I don't think Zach Thomas really got everything into it. Nonetheless, take nothing away from the secondary coverage by Texas State.
Does the Bobcats a favor there. Stops the clock.
Yes.
A lot of time left, yes, but the Bobcats down 2 possessions. As Thomas hands this time, Harrington. Good burst, able to pick up about 5 yards there on 2nd down. And Harrington is again slow to get up for App State. Saw him gripping his left hand earlier. Something else appears to be bothering him right now. We discussed his injury history earlier. 2 years ago, torn ACL. Last year, a foot injury, and down on the turf here. 4 minutes gone by in the 4th with the Mountaineers on top by 14.
His own guy caught him with a knee to the helmet. At least that's what.
After the injury timeout for Dietrich Harrington, taken back to the App State tent, medical tent on the sidelines. So the Mountaineers will bring Marcus Williams back into the backfield, but he's been productive today. Williams about 8 yards a carry so far for App State. Joins Thomas in the backfield for an important 3rd down and 5. It's Williams on the stretch, and Williams got cut off by Braden Stringer. The play whistle dead, and the Bobcat defense, which desperately needed to stop, gets one on 3rd down.
Yeah, great pursuit on the far side. The left side of the defense for the Bobcats coming through, and as you mentioned, number 33, Braden Stringer from Cypress, Texas, other in the Houston area, Brant, down 290, comes through in a great way to force App State into a punting situation. Can Haydale bring one back and make it real interesting?
Again, a 91-yard return for Haydale against UTSA in week 2, 3rd longest return in team history. Haydale will not make a return here. The fair catch calls, the punt goes out of bounds at the 30-yard line. So you look at App State and the coaching history over the past 30-plus years. Jerry Moore, Scott Satterfield, 1 year Eli Drinkwitz. For Coach Moore, 3 national championships coming in consecutive seasons. And then the reins headed off to Scott Satterfield, a former player at App State. Great run now at Louisville. Eli Drinkwitz, 1 year for App State, and then took the job at Missouri in the offseason. The average win total for those 3 since 1989, close to 12 wins a season. Now on 1st down, a big run here for the Bobcats. Brock Sturgis breaking tackles in a 1st down out across the 40-yard line.
And that was a sneaky good run right there. As you mentioned, that's about a 14-yard pickup coming near side to us at Brock Sturgis, and he gets his pads square to the line of scrimmage and almost gets some more with the grass drills. That's putting your hand down on the turf and getting as much as you can with that.
Bobcats in the hurry up. It's Barbie. He got planted. There's that man again making a play. Caleb Sperlin got a touchdown catch earlier in the game for Appalachian State. Barbie with that touchdown of the Bobcats' last possession, by the way, 8th this season. That's tied for the 4th most in a single season in program history.
He's worth it, and he's a junior coming back again. Well, you could leave and say, hey, I found a job.
But nobody is losing a year of eligibility this season because of the pandemic.
Absolutely.
On 2nd and long, Bobcats again have got to score in this drive, down 2 possessions. Vitt working off the play fake, steps up, and Vitt goes down. And there he is again, Demetrius Taylor. He is a load. 6'1", 295 on the Nagurski and Bednarik watch list for a reason.
Yes, and he just gets a lot of push. And again, that size comes with some strength. And, you know, Tyler Vitt's going to have that, as they say, the internal clock in your head as a quarterback to either run, throw the ball away, but don't lose. If you don't have to, don't lose the yards backwards.
Bobcats need 24 yards to convert on 3rd down. Here's Barbie the catch, Barbie the run after. Jackson the tackle. Short of the 1st down sticks, but the Bobcats down 2 possessions. You're the underdog here. Got to go for it on 4th down.
Absolutely, and that was a really good route there by Barbie. I hope he's okay. He's kind of a little gimpy after the tackle, but that's the type of timing you want to see by Tyler Vitt. After 4 seconds, it gets real interesting.
Texas State
he can take that sack.
As Coach Bavital calls for a timeout, we'll step aside as well. 31-17, App State of the 4th quarter. A look at the Sun Belt Conference scoreboard on this November Saturday afternoon. 3 finals already in the books. Close wins for Georgia Southern and Louisiana. Georgia State a rout of ULM. The Warhawks still winless. And 1 game to go. Tonight, Coastal Carolina undefeated, hosting South Alabama. That is the 16th ranked team in the country, Coastal Carolina. On 4th down, Vitt pressured, hit, and it is incomplete. and took a shot from Nick Hampton. And the Mountaineers force a turnover on downs. The Bobcats had to convert there and could not. And now Texas State is in dire straits.
Well, there was opportunity, but you hold the ball that long, it just seems to work in App State's defensive line's favor because they can find a way to get to you. And, you know, there hasn't been any holding calls by the offensive line of Texas State. It's just, you know, after 5 seconds of blocking, Brant, you know, things just break down. And it wasn't like you had to give the ball a lot of air to throw it downfield. That was less than 10 yards to pick up for first down yardage on fourth down there. But, again, the App State defense comes to the challenge and meets it.
And now the Mountaineers trying to salt the game away. On first down, it was a short run for Cameron Peoples. Brought up that great run from Jerry Moore, a legend in Boone, North Carolina. Great coaching history at App State. Mack Brown coached the Mountaineers for one season back in 1983. And again, Coach Moore won 3 consecutive FCS championships, the first of which came in 2005. But oh so close were the Bobcats from facing the Mountaineers in that game that season in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Texas State made it to the national semifinals but lost to Northern Iowa, the team that faced App State the following week. On second down, a first down run. And the Mountaineers, again, pounding the rock right now and trying to nurse this 14-point lead with 6 minutes and change left.
Number 6,
the 14 points, I think that difference is very relative to this game because, Brant, if Texas State falls on a fumble and Zach Thomas doesn't convert that same drive into a touchdown, and that can be considered a 14-point swing. And then you have the pick six that, you know, usually doesn't happen in a game. That's another 7 that's given to App State that doesn't need any help. You could be looking at a tie ball game.
App State in no hurry here. Another running play. Peoples, a big hole. Peoples in the clear. Cameron Peoples to the end zone. Likely seals the game. Cameron Peoples, the touchdown run. Second straight week he has scored and flexing his muscles as he puts the Mountaineers on top by 20.
Well, again, this was a misdirection play up the middle because Zach Thomas opens up in one direction, hands the ball off. But you're right. The short yardage play was there. It was designed to go inside, but then Peoples breaks it to the near side, and it's a foot race, 32 yards if I'm not mistaken, Brant.
And the point after good for Stanton. So we take you back to 2005. Again, the Bobcats oh so close to being the team App State would face in the national championship game. Let's flash you back. Here at Bobcat Stadium 15 years ago. Northern Iowa, a thriller of a win over David Bailiff's Bobcats 40-37. Now, the Bobcats made that long playoff run thanks in large part to a first-round win over a then 1AA powerhouse in Georgia Southern. Bobcats overcame a 19-point third-quarter deficit to defeat the Eagles that night. They would beat Cal Poly the week after before losing to Northern Iowa. Funny thing about that, boss, the Bobcats, of course, would later join a conference with Georgia Southern, who the Bobcats play next week in Statesboro.
It doesn't seem like life just comes completely around, and it's just, you know, if you stay around long enough, those things do happen, and you see programs like that face each other down the road and not too far, but they do have significance with one another.
And the kickoff fielded by Haydell will take it out. Here is Jeremiah Haydell. And to the 25-yard line. Bobcats' upcoming schedule. Just 3 games left for Texas State. Mentioned the Eagles, that's next week on ESPN 3, followed by 2 home games, Arkansas State and Coastal Carolina. Again, the Chanticleers have been the story in the Sun Belt Conference this year, and that's saying something because the league has played so well in 2020. Coastal has not lost yet.
No.
Tonight hosting South Alabama. If they come into that game undefeated, they might be playing for a New Year's Day Bowl.
They might.
On first down, Jamil Jeter who's had a big day for the Bobcats, over 100 yards rushing, and they'll add 13 more yards to that total.
Coastal Carolina's probably most immediate famous alum, Dustin Johnson.
Yeah. Also known athletically for winning the national championship, the College World Series in baseball back in 2016. That happened the day before they officially became official members of the Sun Belt Conference. Winding down to the final 5 minutes, Bobcats led early 7-0. App State took a 24-10 lead by halftime. Bobcats tried to come back here in the fourth quarter, but App State perhaps a game-sealing touchdown on the previous drive. But Coach Spavital said this team never stops fighting, never stops playing, and this offense continues to go to work.
And I like the play by Tyler Vitt because he quickly decides to keep the ball, pulls it down, and gets that first down. That type of action is going to just help him as he develops as a quarterback.
Here's Vitt on first down, a strike over the middle, caught by Drew Jackson, and down to the 32-yard line.
It just may be those 14 points when it's all said and done, Brant. That cushion that App State has built, that may be the difference here in this ball game.
Bobcats in hurry-up mode. Here's Jeter again. And his season best day continues, but flags are in the secondary. Again, far removed from the play.
Too many people for App State. You know, I should never try to guess what
11 players on the field at the snap. 5-yard penalty. Replay first.
Better be lucky than good, Brant.
App State there forgot the count. So move it up 5 yards with 4 minutes and change left. And App State on top 38-17.
So the difference between 11 and 12 is actually 5, not 1.
On 1st and 5 now, here's Vitt. Pressured again, and down he goes again. App State's defense relentless. That time making the play for the Mountaineers, Jalen McLeod, freshman from Laurel, Maryland. Boy, and Tyler Vitt is taking some punishment here this afternoon.
And I have been to Laurel, Maryland. Dad from Baltimore, so I know that state pretty well also.
Brought up the fact that the East Division may not be App State's this year as Vitt runs a draw on 2nd and long. Jeter to the outside. Jamil Jeter showing the Bobcats something here today. He's been the workhorse for the Bobcats out of the backfield. Brock Sturgis, who had a season high last week and 17 carries for more than 120 yards. Just 3 carries so far today. Bobcats are running a hot hand right now. Fresh set of downs. Vitt keeps it himself and dragged down for a short pickup as we approach 3 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. The reason why I say the East Division might not be App State's this year.
Timeout, Texas State, their second.
Is because of Coastal Carolina. And those two are going to meet here in just a couple of weeks on November the 21st.
Number
and the
11
two will meet
is allowed
in
to come back
Conway,
into
South
the game,
Carolina.
even though his helmet came off with the use of a timeout. It'll be 30 seconds.
Now, because of the pandemic, seating is limited. However, the seats that are available already sold out.
Oh, yeah.
That game at Brooks Springs Stadium.
Oh, yeah. You don't want to miss that. I'd like to figure out how I could see that one. You know, Brant, you got to like that the Sun Belt has, you can look at all the bad things that's happened in 2020. Or you can say, you know what, let's find not just the silver lining, but let's find some gold lining. and this is going to be a heck of a matchup from a Sun Belt conference that's going to start to contribute to those New Year's Day opportunities.
And you see Coastal Carolina on the schedule 2 weeks from now. 5 games left for Appalachian State. The last 2 had to be rescheduled because of postponements because of the pandemic. Should note, Georgia Southern, who the Mountaineers in the season against, they have handed App State a loss each of the last 2 years. On 2nd down, Vitt to the end zone, and the pass is incomplete, but a flag in the end zone. Stephen Jones.
Oh, no. That looks like it's offensive.
Stephen Jones and T.J. Grant.
Offense number 14, 15-yard penalty. Replay second down.
And yes, it is against T.J. Graham for the Bobcats. A fight for the football. Didn't see much contact there. Looked like a good play by both players, but the Bobcats call for the flag, and Texas State now penalized for the 6th time today.
And you know, you talk about 6 penalties, but it's when you get penalized, Brant. And right there, probably would have been best as a no call, in my estimation.
On 2nd and long handoff, and it is Calvin Hill. Hill, a nice burst down to the 20-yard line. More flags then at the line of scrimmage this time.
Number 13, Caden Smith. There is a flag on the play.
And you're seeing good yardage picked up by Texas State, so maybe this looks like it is against App State, though.
Offside, defense, number 97. That penalty is declined. 3rd down.
And most likely 2-down territory if you don't pick it up, Brant.
Absolutely, yep. With 2 minutes and 51 seconds to go, the Bobcats down 38-17. Bobcats are that much time away from falling to 1-8 on the season. But again, every coach that has talked to Coach Spavital after games this season have commented just how improved this team is. This record not reflective of the team the Bobcats have. This pass is drops at the 5-yard line by Drew Jackson, who has had issues with drops this season. That'll bring up 4th down.
That was a heck of a play. Tyler Vitt hangs in there. This ball is right out. I mean, that's on the money, Brant.
Yep.
You know, and that's just a lack of concentration. I've said it on any broadcast. The most important part of the catch, not the route, it's the end, because you have to secure that ball down to the ground, or at least into your body, so that you can have an opportunity for possession.
Bobcats need 13 yards to convert here. App State drops 8 in coverage. Vitt thrown to the end zone, and the pass sails over the head of everybody in the area, Mountaineers and Bobcats included. A turnover on downs for Texas State. Getting back to App State, again, the Mountaineers the last 2 years are 18-0 against everybody in the Sun Belt except Georgia Southern. They're 0-2, and they'll face the Eagles to end the regular season. Funny note about Coastal Carolina, how well they're playing this year. The Chanticleers were picked to finish dead last in the East Division coming into the season.
Well, that shows you how much prognostication means when it comes to being able to play the games on the field. And that's what you love about sports, Brant. And let me ask you this. Would you believe that Texas Southern would have a better opportunity, or Coastal in beating App State?
Give me Texas State, as 1st down here for the Mountaineers is a short run. That's App State, you think, would be far more equipped to beat Coastal Carolina. The Mountaineers have more depth, more experience.
Right.
But the Bobcats, as opposed to the Mountaineers, get Coastal Carolina at home.
Well, no, but I was going to say, you said they have to play, App State has to play
at
Georgia,
Coastal.
But they have to play Georgia Southern and Coastal, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, so
I'm
Georgia
saying,
Southern.
Yeah.
Okay, you said Texas. So
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Excuse
Georgia
me.
Southern. That's a great question.
I'm a big Texan. So
well,
yeah.
so the Coastal Carolina App State rivalry is just now kind of starting, especially this year with Coastal Carolina being so good. The game will mean more.
Yes.
As App State has brought in its backup quarterback into the game, Jacob Huseman. App State just chewing up clock now with the game well in hand. But Georgia Southern and App State, their rivalry dates back a long time.
Correct.
Members together in the SoCon, the Southern Conference. As you look at the Sun Belt Conference standings here,
right.
Georgia Southern, by the way, with its win today over Troy, now 5-2. So you're asking me which team stands a better shot at beating Appalachian State?
Yes.
The answer is yes.
Okay.
Both. That's good. App State has run through the conference the past several seasons, but they've got 2 big hurdles awaiting them in the Eagles and Chanticleers. On 1st down across the 40-yard line. Final minute to go here in the 4th quarter with App State again on top 38-17. Mentioned Coastal Carolina. Chanticleers up to 16th in the latest top 25 poll. 3rd straight week the Coastal Carolina has been ranked in the top 25. You talk about all the success for the Sun Belt Conference this season. They're getting national exposure as well. 60% of the conference's games coming into the week have been aired on national TV. And what a showing they've had against the Power 5, namely the Big 12 Conference.
Yes.
In week 2 of the season, the Sun Belt Conference racked up 3 wins over the Big 12. Louisiana beat Iowa State, Coastal beat Kansas, and Arkansas State beat Kansas State. As that snap ends the game, the two teams meeting in midfield. Foss, the Bobcats were game for a while, but App State's depth and experience ultimately won out.
They did, and as Coach Babb said as well, if you don't play an error-free game against a team such as App State with this type of quality, it'll cost you. And I think it cost them at least 14, maybe more, when you talk about the swing of the turnovers and how they led to points for App State.
So 38-17 the final. App State the win. The Mountaineers improved to 5-1 of the season, and they have now won 8 straight Sun Belt Conference road games, while the Bobcats suffer their 6th consecutive loss at a tough game coming up next week at Georgia Southern. The Bobcats a good start, but App State the team that closes it out. And that's going to wrap up our coverage here from Bobcat Stadium. For Steve Foster, I'm Brain Freeman saying so long from Bobcat Stadium. The final score, Appalachian State 38, Texas State 17. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN from San Marcos. Good night.